right, so can you guys hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I don't know how many of you were around for the last call we had. Can you just signify if you're in the last call? I think that was last week Saturday.
Around.
Yeah, Josiah was around. Okay, so for those that were not around, we had a session last week where we talked about some concepts in data analysis. Just to serve as a recap, we looked at some concepts such as building data intuition, where we looked at concepts such as measures of central tendency, that's mean, median, and mode.
How is it?
Yeah, we looked at concepts such as mean, median, and mode, and then we also looked at measures of spread, and we looked at skewness, we looked at the normal distribution, we looked at the central limits theorem. So yeah, that was our focus last week, and we also did some practical sessions on how you can actually carry out some of these preliminary data intuition from data set, right? So the second part of the session was supposed to be an introduction to Power BI. Power BI is a data visualization tool. It's actually a business intelligence tool that is very useful in automating reports, building dashboards, and collaborating with team members. But unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. So today, I think it's sort of unanimously decided to have a 45-minute session, 1 hour session, just to have a brief introduction into Power BI. All right, so as usual, it's going to be a practical session, so I'll just go ahead and start sharing my screen right away.
Do we require to, are we supposed to install Power BI so that we can follow along with you? Or
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, last week I informed them doing so. Part of the requirement for this training was to have installed Microsoft Excel and Power BI so that you can follow along. So I don't know if you guys.
He told us, but we checked that Power BI is not a free. It's not a free software. It's a paid software. So we're thinking maybe you have the crack version, then you.
No. It's completely free to install. It's free to install. It's just when you can download it from your, what's it called? I don't know if you can do it now. Do you have a laptop with you now?
Yeah, on my laptop.
Okay. You know what? Let me just give me a second. Let me share my screen. I'll show you how to install. Can you see my screen?
Oh.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So this is just Microsoft Store on my Windows. I don't know if you use the Mac. I'm not sure how it works on the Mac, but this is Microsoft Store on Windows, and then I can just go ahead and type in and search for Power BI here.
Let me just follow you.
Sorry, I think I'm having internet connections. So can you just try searching for Power BI
on the Microsoft Store, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to open it. Power BI desktop.
Yeah. So if you see here on my screen, just searching for Power BI desktop. It's completely free to install. So just come here and then you should be able to install it from here. Yeah. So it's free. You don't need to pay anything. I have it already, so that's why I have a launch icon here. But if you don't have it installed, you can just download for free. So I don't know if anyone else has the team challenge. Have you been able to install or you guys want to do it now? Can I give you guys a few minutes to do it if you don't have it installed? Please, can you respond?
You mean Power BI?
Yeah, Power BI.
Yeah, I have it installed.
Okay.
I have it installed also.
Okay, all right. So I'll just wait for you briefly. Is it Ify and you? Okay, in the meantime, I'll just carry on so what we have today, so that we don't waste so much time. We're already 60 minutes in the meeting already, so all right. So I have Power BI open currently on my laptop, so you can just follow along. So today we are going to be working on a practice data set. I believe last week I also shared the link that contained all the data sets we'll be using. I don't know if anybody still has the link, so you can actually get the data set I'll be using for today's session. So
Please, can you just drop the link again in the chat box? Sorry.
all right, no problem. No problem. Just briefly open it. All right, just drop the link. Please, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Okay, so like I said, this is Power BI. Just opening it right now. Okay, so you can just go ahead in the link I shared with you. It's to Google Drive where you have a folder containing each of the practical sessions that we did. We did 2 of those practical sessions last week. So just open the Power BI folder and download the finances CSV file. That's the data set that we're going to be using for today's session. And you also find in that same folder there are 2 files. There's your finances CSV file and there's also a PDF file. So the PDF file is just the sample of what we're going to be doing today. If we're able to finish doing it, that's what we're trying to achieve. All right, so okay, so here starting off with Power BI. Okay, when you open it, this is what you see, and then straight up you can just go to get data. So your get data just takes you to this is Power BI asking you where your data set is going to be from. So clicking on get data here. So I have these options. So ideally it says import data from Excel, import data from SQL Server, paste data into a blank table, try a sample data set. All right, but here we have a data set I want to try. So this is more like the data connector interface in Power BI where you have multiple connections from different sources. So this is one very good thing about Power BI. It's the fact that you can integrate your data from multiple sources at the same time, right? From SQL servers, from Excel, from Python, from wherever it is, you can actually you can see this option. You can see Excel, text, JSON, folder, PDF, SharePoint, Access database. A lot of options. All right, so boy, in this case, I just want to select from the folder. So because I have a folder created on my laptop, so and then I browse with the folder path. Okay, and I can just go here, my documents, and I come to trainings and tutoring and Power BI. and that's it. Okay, so yeah, or better still, I can just import directly from Excel, right? I can just come here and go to my documents and go to trainings, return Power BI and finances. All right, so here's what the data preparation phase looks like, right? Okay, so this is Power BI is going to show me exactly a preview of my data set, how it looks like, and to also able to see if I have any corrections, any adjustments I want to make. And here I can actually like make just adjustments, but for the sake of this training, this data has already been cleaned. It's straight to the point. But usually when you work with data set, it's always straightforward. You have to do some cleaning, some manipulation, some data arrangement and all of that, just to make sure that your data is in the right format. You know, if it's supposed to be in percentage, it's percentage. If it's a date format, it should be properly formatted to date session and all that. All right, so here, if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to, you know, edit my data, then maybe there's something wrong with some of the columns or some of the rows. Rather than clicking on load, I'll click on transform data. That's where I can actually you know, clean my data sets. But because it's already clean, I just click on load straight up and then it loads my data set for me. Okay, so first things first, after my data set is loaded, this is what it looks like, right? I see all of my fields from that particular data set. Everything loads here on this right hand side of my pane, right? If you can see my screen, please let me know so I know I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
See your screen.
All right. Are you guys following,
Yeah.
or did I lose anyone?
Following.
No, we'll follow.
All right, cool. All right, so I have all my fields on the right side here. I can close it if I want to. I can expand it, just so I can even increase the length so I know exactly what I'm working with. Right. Don't worry, as you practice more, you're gonna get a hang on the interface. All right, so just to give you a brief explanation on the interface, if you're familiar with Excel, you know that Excel has some ribbons, right? And each ribbon has a specified number of objects that you can work with. So for example, you have home, just like you have in your Excel home, you have insert, you have modeling, you have view, you have help, right? So view is primarily for formatting your dashboard, your layout. If you wanted to use a mobile layout, if you wanted to use, you know, if you wanted to adjust your canvas, yeah, so actual size, fit to width, fit to page. If you want a mobile layout, you also have that option. If you want to insert grid lines, you also have the option. Yeah, so then you have your modeling. Your modeling is actually useful when you want to connect data from multiple sources. So for example, you have a data set from different sources and you want to actually model them in such a way that you want to, if you're familiar with SQL, there's something we call join, right? Where you join two tables together using a table that is common to both of them, right? So that's where the data modeling comes in. And then inserts, this is where you insert visuals, and apps and shapes and text and all of that. And then you have your home button where you can also get data. You can you can create measures and then you can publish from here, right? And then on your left side here, there are also how do I call them? There are three buttons on my left, right? The first one is my working canvas, like that. This is where I create my reports, my dashboard and all of that. The second one is where I preview the whole table that I'm working with, right? So on the second one, I see exactly what the full table, what it looks like. You know, here I can edit this table. Actually, I can delete, I can delete some columns, right? I can rename, delete, I can hide and all of that. I can change the format here. right? So here necessities USD, I can change the currency, I can change the format, and all of that. And then here, the last one is actually data modeling, where I can, map data sets. I can map columns, columns of fields that are common to two data sets I'm trying to merge together. So remember when I talked about the data modeling, right? So this is actually the diagram view of the model, where I can actually join a row that is common to two tables together. For the sake of this training, I am not doing those kind of stuff. I just want to focus basically primarily on how you can straight up load your data into Power BI and create visualizations. Then on your own, you can do some practice and try, and I would suggest actually they do some practice, right? That's the only way you can know this. All right. So, okay. So like I said, if you look at the folder I shared with you, apart from this finances data set, there's also a PDF file which shows exactly what we're trying to achieve. So let me just go and open that up as my guide to see. Okay, so this is exactly what we're trying to, at the end of the day, this is what we want to have, right? We want to be able to create a dashboard where we are able to see the breakdown of expenses of this particular person, right? So the first thing you see is you want to see the expenses by year, total year, 2019, 2020. We want to see a decomposition of the medium of payments, right? So whether it's cash or credit card or transfer, you want to see exactly how each of those payments are made. Then we want to see also the spending amount by spending type, right? So we want to see what this person is actually spending most of his money on in percentage. And then we also want to see a trend. We want to see a trend of, the earnings trend. We want to see the spending trend. I want to see the savings trend as well, right? So this is going to be my guide. So at the end of this session, we should be able to have something close to this. If you have enough time, I will do some formatting, but if not, I'll just do something simple and then show you how I was able to format it to have a dark background. All right. So going back to
Victor, if you want to share your screen, try click on screen share instead of a particular application. It makes it easy. You can interchange to whatever apps you want without stopping your sharing.
Yeah, I'll stop and okay.
So just click on the first. I think it's the first one you see. You just see screen.
All right, okay. All right. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me change it now. How about now? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. All right, so we can carry on. So, all right, so the first thing is going on view. I can choose to just create that dark background overall and click on here. Right, so here changes my background to black, right? But for you, you might want to choose purple. If you want to use purple, you may want to change your theme. So what changing your theme means is if I select a particular theme color, it means that all my charts are going to be automatically I don't know, tailored to that theme color, right? So just some customization. If you are a UI person and you are design oriented, you might want to play around with this a bit. All right. So like I said, but just do something simple and straight to the point. So first things first, we can start with spending amount by spending type, right? So here, you can see a list of my visualizations here. You can see start bar chart, you can see start column chart, cluster bar chart. If you're familiar with some data visualization in Excel, in creating charts in Excel, this should not be new to you. Some of the things, however, that may be new to you are gauge. Then you also see some key influencer charts. You see some decomposition tree. So that might be very new to you. Now you also have the options of choosing some visualization types that are not listed here, right? So I do that by I just click on these 3 buttons here and I go to get more visuals. And then, Power BI takes me to the marketplace where I can actually download some Power BI visuals. But to be able to do this, you have to have an account. You have to create an account, and I think you can't use a Gmail account. It has to be like a company account. So that might be a problem if you're trying to use this. So here on the marketplace, I can actually add additional charts. I can add the word cloud. I can add different kind of charts to make very cool visualizations. All right. So let's start with like I said, so these are guide. This is a donut chart I used here. So let's go back and just use this donut chart here. So I select on donuts. All right. And here is, sorry guys, give me a second. I have to call. Sorry about this. Sorry guys, that was an emergency. Sorry about that. So going on here, okay, so I have please just, if you're not following, if you're lost, just hijack the meeting and just let me know. So here, what I want to calculate is spending by spending type. So I just come here, I move my spending into my values. All right. So instead of count of spending, I do hello. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back.
Okay, Victor. See from this right pane where you have your columns. All these checkboxes here, are they all your columns?
Yes, all the boxes here. If you sorry, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I'm seeing your screen.
Yes.
Okay, so here, if you remember this table contains all your columns in your particular data table, right? It's a very long table with lots of columns, right? So here, on my report pane, right, these columns have been lifted here in my fields, right? So it's just a matter of drag and drop. So creating a chart. Okay, let me just do this again. So creating a chart, I'm selecting the donut chart now, and then I create a donut chart, right? Now to visualize a particular field, a particular column in this chart, all I just need to do is come here and drag what I want to visualize and then paste it here. So I'm going to take you through exactly how, like I said, this is my working template. This is something I created before, and I just want to be able to like replicate this process. So that's what I'm walking you through. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how each of these charts were created, and then from there you can do your practice on your own and explore what you learned further. So just to answer your question, yes, all the columns are listed here in the fields. Does that answer your question?
Sure. Because I'm seeing another drop that, like that particular place your arrow is this the date this date value. I'm seeing like an arrow there, like there are other values, you know.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, so very good observation. So here there's something that we call date hierarchy, that Power BI creates. So date hierarchy is more like once Power BI understands the data set that you're importing, there's some particular field values that it creates automatic hierarchy. So hierarchies are like subdivisions of a particular field. So in the case of dates, the hierarchies you have months, you have quarter, you have day. So let me just explain this further. So let me just keep this here and create a line chart, right? So creating a line chart, if I come here and I insert my dates here on my axis, you can see I have 4 things listed out here. You can see year, you can see quarter, you can see month, you can see day. Now, these are the hierarchies under the dates automatically created by Power BI, right? So that means that if I'm trying to visualize a particular trend over a particular time, I don't need to worry myself on creating, subdivisions of months, of quarter. Power BI automatically does that for me. So I don't know if that answers the question.
It's clear. Thank you.
All right.
I noticed that when you dragged in the spending amount, it's not showing counts of spending anymore. How did you do it? It's just showing spending.
Yeah,
amount.
so here, spending amounts, just come here, just come to your values, right? You see this drop down here. You click on the drop down, and then just like Excel, where you create a pivot table in Excel, and you're trying to, I don't know, evaluate a particular is it value. Excel shows you what you want to show your data as. Is it as average, minimum, maximum, count, distinct count, or no calculation at all. But in this case, it's sum, right? The default should always be sum.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here's my spending amount sum. Now, what I want to do now is I want to visualize by spending type, like where exactly am I spending my money on, right? So here, you just scroll down, look for spending type, and you drag it to details, right? So
so to do this, like one value will be categorical, one will be numerical, Abi. So
yes,
like
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, like pivot tables, exactly. So like I said, if you're familiar with creating charts in Excel, this, this would be pretty much straightforward, because this is even more like drag and drop. You're not creating pivot charts. It's just drag and drop, as long as you understand your data set, right? So, and it's just a matter of practice with each particular chart type, to be able to understand how you can manipulate your variables to properly present what you're trying to show. So in this case, in my values field, I'm putting my spending amount, and then in my details, I am putting my spending type. Okay, so here, let me delete this particular one. So here I can see exactly, all right, I'm spending everything on food and spending, some, but here without the legend, it's so unclear because all I have is just percentage and some numbers. And because there are a lot of spending type is it categories now, it's sort of difficult to read this because I even have to scroll down to see payback and salary, right? So to properly visualize this, there's the formatting tool in Power BI as well, where here, just come here, see where my mouse is, and see this format pane, and then I click on it, right? And then I come to legend. I can turn my legend off, all right? And then I can edit my details labels. So let me just expand this. It's very, please, if I'm losing you, or there's something you don't understand, just interject the meeting and call me out. So here on my, okay, so this is the first thing I did. I turned off my legend, all right? And then on my detail labels, I came here and then you can just select, okay, what you want to visualize. Is it category? You can see food, rent, travel, or in this case, I would like to see the category and the percentage of total. Exactly. So here it's clear that I have food 35%, rent 13%. So for me, this is much better. This is much clearer. It's much more sophisticated to look at this rather than having a long list of labels. Then I have a problem with the font. The font is too small. So I can just come here, still in my detail labels, and increase the text size. Just increase it a bit, right? I'd like to change the color to something dark. So I choose black for the color. Just for the sake of this, I'll just keep it simple. You can also, you can take a step for the decimal places. I want to put it to 0 decimal places, right? You can change the text, you can change the position. In this case, I'll just put outside, right? All right, so we're done with our first one here. Okay, so now let's go on and create a trend, like a trend of the earnings, a trend of the spendings, and a trend of the savings. So to create that trend, taking a look at my guide, we are going to create a line chart now. All right, so I just come here, I click on this line chart, right, and then on my line chart I go to these fields, and I drag the fields that I want to be shown on my line chart. All right, so the axis, no brainer, it's my date. All right, but in this case I don't need to show quarter, month, day. I just need the month actually. So I just remove the year, I remove the quarter, I remove the day, so I have only month. And then in the values, I'm going to insert total savings. All right, 1. I'm going to insert spending amount, 2, and then I'm going to look for total earnings as well. Earning amount, USD. Earning amount here. Oh, there's something wrong. There's something off here. You shouldn't have this peak. Total savings, spending amounts, earning amounts.
I'm cross-checking together chart as if you are picking the right columns now.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. Sorry?
But you should, if you're putting all the values, I think it will scale them according to the largest, like the column that has the largest values. So all of them will not have to. That's why this thing is like.
No. Ideally, your earning amount should be greater than your savings and your spending all through the month. Ideally, that's the perfect scenario. So that's what I'm saying. There's a peak here that I don't understand, what's going on. Just out of curiosity, because if you see the rest of the charts, basically you have your earnings. Much more than your savings and your spending, right? But in this particular, what month is this? Yeah, in March.
Yeah, you can check it from the data side. I don't think there's any problem with it.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, that's. But we can carry on. So, but I think it's pretty clear.
Yep.
Yeah. But what of a situation where like you're trying to visualize stuff like maybe something is measured in percentage, and another thing is measured in like, let's say, tens of thousands, and you want to like check them on the same chart. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, I
So
don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I
So
understand what you're saying.
the scale
Will be
like
different.
one line will just be a straight line.
So in that case, you want to use a different kind of chart, right? There's a this is just a line chart, right? There's what's it called? There's line. You can use some component charts. I think there's line and stack column charts. I think there's line and cluster column charts. I think there's ribbon charts. So there are a couple of options. Then you can actually adjust for primary and secondary scales on this particular chart. I don't even understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So. And actually, I mean, it's even possible here because here I'm seeing secondary values. So let me just try out what you're saying. If I look at secondary values here, yeah. So here, on this particular line chart, there's a field option for secondary values where you can visualize another, another scale, data from another scale entirely. So here, spending percentage, and you can see here, that actually creates a second, what's it called? But for some reason, it doesn't seem to be working well. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working well. Okay, let me try another one. So, spending percentage, if I do percentage of savings. Yeah, okay, so it works actually. Yeah, so it works. So you can create on the secondary values fields, you can insert another variable with another in another format, whether percentage or something, and then you can view side by side the relation between those variables. Okay, now just to do some editing, you can do some editing on this particular chart. You can create data labels if you want to, even though it's going to be a bit messy. You can increase your stroke width, just like you can do in Excel, and then you can also give me a sec. Yeah, then I can also show marker here. This is what I'm trying to do. So show marker, I like to show marker a lot because for me, it helps me to point out distinct points, right? That's why I like to show markers a lot. So showing markers, and then I think on my reference chart, I think I have data labels. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have data labels. So
can we change the color of spending and total? Like it's close, so it's kind of hard.
It's close, yeah. So you can do that on your end. Yeah. So here, you can just change the theme color basically to different colors. Let's go with this one. Yeah. Right. Rather than having time to, I mean, you can format it by yourself, but I like to do something automated, and I just come here and select the color theme, and then Power BI just automates my report for me. Right. But if you wanted to edit the colors by yourself, you can come here and then click on data colors, and then you can begin to edit and choose your color. Which means that for every of your charts, you have to edit your colors one by one, which is a bit time wasting actually. So that's why I prefer to go through this other route.
Okay.
Yeah. So data labels, we can just add data labels here, and then we can give it a background. All right. Now there's a problem here. If you notice in the problems, one of the biggest discomforts working with Power BI is formatting. That's the stuff that wastes time a lot. You need to be very meticulous about your formatting. If you look at this chart, for example, you can see some labeling with dollars. The currency is in dollars, and while the other there's no currency there, right? So I think it's total savings as currency. My spending and my earning amount do not. So that could be because, yeah. So that is actually because in my particular fields, in the fields I'm using, I have conversions for different currencies, but I didn't use them. So let me just go ahead and correct that. Put spending amount in dollars here, and then earning amount as well in dollars. Yeah, so this is actually correct. So this takes care of that spike we saw earlier, where we saw spending amount greater than earning amount. So this is the correct field. Right. So one important aspect of data analysis or data visualization is attention to detail. I'm sure you probably know that, right? It's very critical if you want to be a good data analyst to always ask questions. Don't accept anything that you see. Always question if what you're doing makes sense or not, right?
I feel like the chart is becoming too noisy because of the
Yeah. We're not done yet. We're going to do a lot of formatting. Like I said, like formatting, takes a lot of work. So we're still going to format and make it better. Don't worry. I get what you're saying. It's becoming messy and unreadable. But like I said, we're trying to. This is what we're trying to achieve. So this is our end point where everything is clear, easy to reach to the point. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So then the next thing we want to create now. The next thing we want to create now is my payments type. Okay, so we want to create a decomposition tree. This particular chart type is called a decomposition tree, right? And it's very useful for breaking out stuff into details. It actually works more like a pie chart, but in this case, rather than having a circle, you want to have something that breaks out into other things, right? So I want to break my spending amount by a payments type. All right, so here I click on this decomposition tree here. All right, the composition tree and my spending amount in USD. So I put it in the analyze fields, and then I click explain by. So the explain by is my transaction type. And then you can see this small array. So I split my data here, high value. No, this is not it. It's not transaction type. It's payments type. So payments type. Yeah. So payment type, you see credit card, transfer, debit card, cash, octopus. All right. So okay, so I can move this one here. All right. I'm still going to format everything to make it make sense. Then I have, so what else do I want to create? I want to create a spending limits gauge, right? So the idea of me creating this particular chart was to see, okay, I want to have, let's assume that this was my particular financial statement and I wanted to be able to visualize how I was performing financially every month. I want to be able to have a spending limits gauge on my income every month in such a way that if I pass a particular spending limits gauge, I know that I'm overspending that particular month, right? And if I spend below, then I know I'm spending within my limits, right? So to create this brings us to the concept of measures in Power BI. Now, a measure works more like a calculation in Excel where you create certain formulas to calculate certain things, right? In Power BI, we call it measures, and the measures in Power BI are written in DAX codes. Nothing, believe me, it's not like Python. It's not so complicated, but like I said, you need some practice. You need some understanding of how DAX codes work, and there's a lot of resources within the Power BI community where you can get any help as regards whatever DAX codes or measures that you're trying to calculate. So in this particular case, I go to my modeling, right, and I create a new measure, right? So hovering my mouse on new measure, you see write a DAX expression that calculates a value from your data, right? Now, this is particularly useful when Power BI has no particular calculation for you. You have to create your calculation by yourself. So I click on new measure. Okay, now even before I go to that one, let me show you something very quick. Let me just delete this. Okay, so Power BI can actually help me to create some quick measures, right? So I go to modeling and I click on quick measure, right? And it tells me to select the calculation. Aggregate per category, average per category, variance per category, max per category, mean, blah, 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 time intelligence. I want to do year to date. If you're into, if you're in the, I don't know, market intelligence, FMCG, field, and you want to do year to date, quarter to date, month to date, these are very good measures that you can use that can help you to give perspective to your data points. You can do percentage difference, correlation coefficients, like some really cool stuff. Right, but here I'll just have to create my own measure. So this quick measure, particular this one just shows you measures that are already preset for you, right? But you can be flexible enough to create a new one by yourself. So here I want to create a measure and I want to call it spending limit. Spending limit, right? If I remember correctly, my spending limit was sum. I'm going to explain it. Sum of my earnings. Where is earnings? Finances. Earning amount in dollars. Yeah. Okay. The sum of everything times 40%. That's 0.4. So what this is simply saying is that my spending limit, right? The spending limit of all my income, of all my earnings in a particular month, let's say in January, I'm earning 100,000 naira in January, for example, and I put a cap of 40% on it. It means that I don't want to spend above 40% in January, right? Now, this does not just calculate it for January; it calculates it for all the months together, right? So, you're going to see how important these measures are. So my measure has been correctly created. Here you can see this field that my mouse is hovering on. You can see spending limits, and you can see a calculator icon there, meaning like it's a measure that I calculated myself, right? So now
Does that mean it has created a new column called spending limit in your data set?
No, it's not a new column. It's a measure. Now you can create a new column. You can create a new column if I want here. You can just come here, new column. But a measure does not create a new column in Power BI. A measure is just like a calculation that you can use. So a measure it uses some columns that you reference, one or two columns that you reference, and then it calculates it for you, but it doesn't create it as a new column for you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here now I want to be able to create this chart where I have a spending limit gauge. But I need a particular measure to tell Power BI exactly which point I want my limits to be on, right? So I'll just show you how I do that. So here I click on this gauge chart, all right? And then on my value fields, I go to spending amounts. Yeah. Okay, spending amount is on my value. Okay, so this is the now. Remember also that on this particular chart, this dashboard I'm creating, I don't have any filter. Do you understand? I don't have any. So everything is the combination of all the values in my data set. I don't have filter for the months yet, and that's going to be the last thing I'm going to do. But I just wanted to start with this first. All right, so I have this, and then my target value. My target value is simply my spending limit that I created. So if I create my target value here, yeah, you can see. So now I have my target value, and then I have the amount that I've actually spent. So according to this chart and according to my measure, it means that I am well within my spending limits. I am not spending above or below my spending limits. All right. And there are also there's maximum value. In this case, my maximum value will be total earnings. Yeah. So earning amount would be my maximum value. Yeah. So this is perfect. All right. So I think we are good to go now.
But this is just for a month, right?
So that's what I'm saying. This is for cumulative. This is all the periods. I have not yet added the filter where I can now filter for a year or for a month or for stuff like that. So this is the cumulative, right? So
like
now
it's not interactive now.
It's not interactive now, exactly. Well, it is interactive to some extent. It depends on how you want to use it, right? In this case, I could click on the month from here. If I click on July here, from this line chart here, I can see what happens in July, right? But it's just that it's very messy. On this particular line chart, it's not very clear. It's not user friendly. That's
so they are basically all connected. The charts.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the charts are connected, obviously.
Wow, that's good to note.
Yeah, they're connected, obviously. So, but to make it user friendly, which is where your formatting is key. Sorry? Sorry, I didn't get you. Hello?
I think his network is bad.
All right, okay. But I think it was comparing it with Excel. I think this is much easier to use. The drag and drop interface. It just takes some time to understand how each chart works. But once you get the hang on it, and you are very good at calculating measures, you can do very powerful things in Power BI.
So can we export this to like Microsoft Word? Excel, you can export the charts to Microsoft Word and stuff like that.
For now, the only export option I see is export to PDF. But there's even something more powerful, which is publish to web. So on the publish reports, if you have a Microsoft BI account, you can publish and then you can share with other people. You can publish your web page. So it is very useful for you if you are trying to build a portfolio of projects for yourself. You can actually publish this and embed it in a personal website, actually, which is very good. So I think that's one of the, and it's also very interactive, right? So as long as it's hosted on your web page, people can actually go there and interact and see what you're trying to tell them. So, and like I said, there's also the mobile layout option, which you can use to create a mobile layout and a web page layout. So it's just something for you can look into that, just on your own. All right, so let me just let me insert some filters to make it more user friendly. So here I come and I insert the slicer, right? So on my slicer, I want to put date on my slicer. So here it's a bit.
Where did you get that slicer from? Sorry, please.
Okay, let me just do that again. So you guys seem very interested. I like the attitude. So just come here and then on one of your visualization, just select slicer. But there are different kinds of slicer, really. They are different based on what you want to achieve or what you're trying to show. I don't like this kind of slicer. I think the one I even used was a drop down. Yeah. So let me try and look for it. Well, it seems not to be. I think I probably imported it from, but let me just edit this. So I put date here. And I think I have this option of customizing. Yeah. So drop down. Or, okay, I think it's a list. It's a list, but you can see that my list is actually showing me the exact date, Thursday, July. I just want the month and I want the year. So here, reverting back to your question on hierarchy, right? I just go and remove some hierarchies that I don't need, like day. I don't want day. I don't want quarter, right? All I just want is month and year, right? So, for example, if I come here and I click 2020, it shows me the data points for 2020 for all the charts. And if I want if I want to select per day, I can come here and then I select December. Obviously, there's nothing in December for 2020. November, I think it starts from July. That's the last, yeah, July exactly. So now you can see on this particular trend chart, the reason why you are not seeing anything is because we are selecting per month now, which is July, June. If I were to select for like multiple months, then I'll start seeing my trend. Yeah. So, but for the sake of this, I think I just select the whole year 2020, and then I
So
have
this
my
slicer is just like, let's say, a mouse. If you want to like interact with the whole chart, you just want specific details. The slicer, you just use it as your
yeah,
yeah.
depending on what you're trying to achieve. I mean, that's the key. The key point is what you're trying to achieve. For you,
So
you might not want.
if for example, like I'm the manager in a company, and this is my data scientist or the data science department gives me this chart, and I can just easily just click on, okay, let's say I want to see records for 2019. Let's
Yeah.
say July 2019. I just click on it and to just show me the records there instead of.
Yeah, exactly. So I click on 2019. This is the old 2019 year. First of all, the reason why I created this trend was because usually when people look at when people are trying to observe a pattern, it's proper to observe it over time, right? So that's why I created this chart to see, okay, over time, what has been my earning look like? You can see my earnings have been growing actually over time. And so if my earnings have been growing, does that mean that my spendings have been growing as well? Well, there's really no proof of that because you can see it went up and it came down and then gradually, and all of that. Then savings, I think particularly you can see that savings has even my savings is way more than my spending, which is a good thing. So
Something that is even clear, something that is even clear, if you look at it, like the spendings goes up in November, December, which is normal.
yeah,
Like Ember period, people spend a lot during that
exactly.
period. Why mid-year is low because it's just people don't really spend that much.
Yeah, correct. I mean, yeah. So for this particular person, this can be explained actually. But like I said, you might not really understand this if you don't view the trend over time. That's why it's always nice to have. If you have a data set where you have a field that has data in it, you always create a line chart that views it over a trend. Yeah, but to go back to your question, if I wanted to see for July particularly, I can just come to 2019. Sorry. And then click on July, and then I see exactly what is happening in July. Apparently, there's no data set in this month. That's very weird. Oh, that's really weird. Okay, but if you take August, you can see payment type, everything, almost everything by credit card, cash. Then here, this person actually spent more than his spending limit in this month. So that could be very interesting. And then you can see spent a lot of stuff in beauty, then food. Okay, let's take another one, September. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe this person, I don't know, maybe this person did a major surgery or because he spent like almost half of his expenses on beauty. So that's interesting. In November, yeah, then his rent was due. Yeah. So I can understand why he spent overboard. Yeah, exactly. So these are some of the very cool stuff you can do.
So if you select a slicer, how do you like manually indicate the chart you want to connect the slicer with, or Power BI does it for you?
No. So Power BI connect the chart to the whole. Power BI connects your your slicer to your whole chart, but you can format. If you're very good in formatting, if you understand how the slicer works, you can do it in such a way that your slicer does not affect certain charts, right? So let's assume that we want this trend. We want it to be, because it's a trend, I want to view it over time. I don't want it to be affected, right? Because it's trend. I can do it in such a way that
Okay. See what about it? We are supposed to have a slicer that slices for the individual actually. You understand? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
no, that's what I'm saying. Eventually, that's why I said it depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? In this case, what I'm trying to achieve is to see exactly the whole story in time. Now, for you, you might want to see, okay, I don't know, you want to see the same thing, but you want to see it by spending amount type. You want to see, okay, instead of this, you want to have food. Okay, you know what? Let me create another chart. Okay, so instead of dates here, you might have food, you might have spending type here, and then you can create commute other, and then you can, it's still going to give you the same view. So for example, if I okay, let me just copy this. So I'm creating this exact same chart, right? But instead of dates here, I am using spending type. All right. So I have spending type here as a list. All right. So if I click on ATM, well, I don't know what this is really saying. Beauty. It's just, I think the only information here is just like, okay, I'm seeing my beauty trend over time. What about commute? Not really interesting stuff actually. Food. Okay, let me select the whole year. Let me select both years. So so like I said, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. But in this case, I'm not sure this is particularly useful. To use your slicer to be spending time. It could be something else. I don't know. It could be something else. That might be interesting to observe what you want to observe. But in this case, what I'm trying to achieve is to see the whole picture from a time perspective. That's what I'm trying to achieve. That's why my slicer here, that's why I choose it to be time, right? Rather than all these other variables. I want it to be time so that in time I can see exactly what I'm spending on, what I'm not spending on. I can see exactly what's interesting, what is not interesting. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it's clear. It's clear.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let me just do a quick trick that you can use to apply your filter that it doesn't apply to a particular chart. So for example, when it comes to trend, one of the problems that I highlighted in trend was if I select a particular point, say, why is one of these data points here? Why is it empty? This is very weird. So when I select, for example, October 2019, the trend here, I'm seeing just October, right? But I want it to be in such a way that the trend is visible over time because it's a trend over a particular period of time. So even if I select a month, I want the trends to still be visible, right? So here I can come here, right? I select this particular chart type, all right? And I go to data drill. Okay, and I go to drill through. Is it drill through? No, it's not drill through. I think is it format? Yeah, it's format and then edit interactions, right? So once I click on edit interactions, I click on it again, it shows me some icons on the other chart, right? So you can see this particular icon, you can see filter and you can see none, right? If you come to this line chart, you can see filter, you can see none. If you come to this gauge chart, you can see filter, you can see none. If you come to this pie chart, you can see filter. So here I can tell the chart to not affect my line chart here, and I click none. So that means that no matter what I select, even though I'm selecting January, sorry, let me select 2020 for example. So if I select 2020, why is this saying not available? Sorry, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. My data is not selected. Okay. So so going back to format interactions, I'm clicking on none. So that means that whatever I do here, it won't affect this particular line chart, right? So if I select January now, 2020 January. We can see the other charts are changing, but this remains constant, right? Because it's a trend. I want it from a top-down approach, from a perspective approach. I want to be able to see the trend, irrespective of the month, right? But all the other ones can change. So these are some of the tricks that you can use to make your charts very interactive and very user-friendly, in such a way that you know, the story I try to tell makes a lot of sense. And like I said, everything boils down to what you're trying to achieve. One thing about data visualization is the fact that you don't do things because it just looks fine and looks cool. You're always trying to communicate a message. You're always trying to make it very friendly for the person that is viewing your report. So that is to keep in mind. Right. So let's do some. So let's just make this very proper now. Let me just format this chart in such a way that it's very visible and user friendly. So here, let me see my reference. So you can see all my references, everything has a title, right? So that's the first thing you need to do. Title, yeah. So by creating a title, I come here and yeah, so I click on this chart, I come to format and I click on title, okay. And then I align it into the middle. I give the black color. My background color, I can make it black. Make it black actually, and then my font color is white. I think I want to increase that a bit. Yeah. Wait a sec. Okay, then yeah, so I don't like the title. I can just edit it. I can say trend of savings, trend of earnings, spending, and savings. Okay. Let me just make it very easy. Then I also don't like the fact that the font is so small, so I can edit that actually. Data labels. My color background, my color background, I want it to be dark. And then my font color itself, I want it to be very dark. Okay, so that's more punchy. And I want it to be bigger as well. Okay, it's a bit clumsy actually. Then sorry. Let's just change things a bit. Which one do I track? Just yeah. I hope you guys are not bored. Sorry. Formats can be very boring actually. Then my data, my legend, I want to format my legend. So my x-axis, it's very small. So I want to make the text bigger. Yeah. Okay. And then same for my y-axis as well. I want to make it big as well. Then I want to make my lines thicker. So that shapes, I go to shape and then I increase the width. I like this one. And then I want to increase my marker size as well. Yeah, so it just doesn't have to be this big, but you get the point. I mean, I think this is very visible. I think it's very visible enough. Then here as well, I can come here and first of all, give it a more appropriate title. So I come to the title and I click on spending gauge limit. Align it to the middle. Font color, black. Background color, I give it a black color. Font color, I give it a white color. Now this is entirely up to you. You can customize as you wish. Increase the font a bit. Yeah. And then also the data levels are too small, so I can just make that bigger. Yeah, more appropriate. Give it a dark color black. And then my gauge axis. Yeah, my target value. The color I can give it give it another color. So I give it a.
Sorry, please. I had to go off for some time. Like I had to get it started. I don't understand how you made this your donut chart. Like the values are now no more like jam packed. I think you did something to the donut chart. Can you like just recap a little bit, please?
Okay. So that means because we actually talked a lot. I mean, we've talked on other things, so I don't know. But okay, let me just recap. So for the donuts, what I did was to, first of all, the way it was, I had a lot of legends, and I didn't like the fact that I had a lot of legend. It was difficult to read. So the first thing I did was to turn off the legend, right? So I come to legend and I turn it off. And then my detail labels, I just click on this drop down and I click on this label style option, and then Power BI gives me the various options. I can choose category, right? Which is it just gives me food, rent, blah, 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 blah. Now this is fine, but I have to hover on it to see exactly the percentage, right? But I don't want to stress myself to have to hover on it to see exactly the percentage. So that's what I'm doing percentage, I'm doing category and percentage of total. So food 32%, rent 19%, fashion 70%. So that's just everything I did. Just some formatting, nothing special.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, so let me just give this also an appropriate title. I come here. Yeah, so where's title here? Yeah, title. I do spending amount by type. Okay, and then I align it to the middle, increase the text size, font color, make it white with a black background. Okay. Yeah. It's not looking so pretty actually, but this is just a test. So, and then same thing for here as well. Can just yeah, this is much better. Yeah, this is much better. So I can edit the colors here. Tree, primary color, can give it a different color actually. Deselected, let me give it a black. Yeah. Connectors black. Connector shape.
What's the name of this chart? Sorry.
This is a decomposition tree.
Decomposition tree.
Yeah. My mouse is hovering on it right now. Decomposition tree.
So here, does it work with categorical values or it works with both numerical and categorical values?
Yeah. So you can. I mean, if you understand the concept of a pie chart, which is I want to break out my data, by values into different categories. That's exactly how it works, right? You can use it in place of a pie chart. You can use it in place of. So it just does the same thing. It breaks out your values into different categories. So if you look at our field selected here, for example, right, we selected spending amount. We're analyzing. So the analysis is spending amount, and we're explaining it by payment type. So the payment type here is the category of payments, right? So that's how we are breaking it out here.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so like I said, formatting takes a lot of time, so you might need some practice to get a hang on it to know exactly what works, what doesn't work, and there are a lot of resources for you out there that you can use. So, tree header, yeah. So, pretty much, I think okay. So there's one final statement here. This is just like a summary here, but I think we pretty much captured everything we wanted to capture. Here, give me a sec. Let me just add something. Is it legend? Top center. Yeah. Markers on the line mark. Yeah. Give it a black color as well. Make it a big. Yeah. So yeah, so I think pretty much we covered everything we wanted to cover. So like I said, this let me categorically tell you, this session is not sufficient for you to say that you can use Power BI. You need to, I would advise that you know, on your own, you could take this up as a personal project. You could get back to me via email, and then I'll review it for you and give you some feedback. You could use this data set, or you could look for another data set that is interesting for you particularly and try to play around with it and try to test your skills and see exactly what you can do. And then if you need any help, any recommendations to review, any suggestions to improve, then I can do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I would like to ask, is it possible that the client gets access to the dashboard?
Yes, it's possible. But it's not straightforward. It depends on how you want to share it. You can share this as a if you can create this as a report, right? And you can share it as a PDF, which is export to PDF, right? That's one option. The second option, which is much more interactive, is to publish to web. So publish. So if I click on publish, I click on publish to Power BI. The only caveat here is
the report is like in PowerPoint, are you?
No, it's not in PowerPoint. It's going to be interactive.
So I wanted to ask, like, how do you like present only your dashboard without having this, your columns, the filters, and all this stuff by the side? Like, how do you just?
Yeah. So in that case, you have to structure your report in such a way that you are presenting your information in a way that is clear and concise enough, right? Because if you understand the structure that I put here, what I had in mind was interaction, right? That's what I had in mind in creating this. Now, if I wanted to create this in another way, I could do it by, I don't know, then everything will be different. Then if I wanted all the information to be captured, then a lot of the chart I'll be using is going to be in bar charts, line charts, because then I'm going to be viewing by dates and by category. Do you understand? So it depends on how you want to. Yeah. You have to structure your reports in that case. If you are presenting a PDF report or something static, like we call it static reports, where everything is constant information, then that is how you have to structure your dashboard. Right. But in this case, what I had in mind is an interactive way. So even if I export this to PDF, I'm hiding a lot of information because what I had in mind was interaction. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This one, for example, this is not helpful because this is just the whole of 2019. I can't drill that into what is happening by month. I can't see what is happening by month in each of these spending type. I can't see how much I'm spending. Am I within my spending limits gauge in what particular month? I can't see the information here, right? So if I was presenting this to a client, this is not appropriate because it's hiding a lot of information. But if I wanted to present it,
it's still representational, right? Because it looks very professional to me already.
Yeah. I understand you. It might look professional, but it's hiding a lot of information. That's the key word here. You forget about the beauty, forget about everything. The point is how useful it is, how readable it is to the layman. That's always the goal of visualization, to make it so simple and so straight to the point where it's easy for me to understand what I'm trying to say. right? Now, this is information. If I was looking at 2019 as a year, then this makes sense. Top down approach the whole year. But if I start asking questions about what exactly happened in August 2019, then it's difficult for me to see that information here. So that's
okay.
Yeah.
So, Paul, what the whole, can I add just a point to add?
Yeah.
If you want to make it very interactive, you have to publish. And publish, you can link it to your website. Like, as data scientists or software, whatever, we're supposed to have our website, like portfolio.
Yeah.
And if you are publishing, you can link it to your website. Then you can have the interaction. Someone can just go to your website, click on whatever month they want, and it will display. But for it to publish, you have to have an account.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
them, and you need a company mail.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you have a company name, you can I think there's a way it can be done where you create an email that is linked to a company. I don't know, you create your own company, or maybe if your name is Adeyomo Babajide, you can do.
Hey, please, who knows how to do that? I'm curious. So how did you create company?
You can use the cPanel to do that.
Yeah, it's
control panel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not rocket science. Yeah. So you can do that and then create an account and then publish to your web, and But like I said, just play out the point today is to step by step, try and get your hands dirty, do some 1 or 2 exercises, and if you need any help for me to review and give you feedback, I'll gladly do that. Just buzz me by email and they can see, then you can share. Just send me the Power BI file, and then you can. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody has any more questions or observation.
And I think the delivery depends on what the client wants, right? Not necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on exactly what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day. That's usually that should be what drives your dashboard, your design. The kind of colors you're choosing. That's really
how much do you
important.
charge per design of the dashboard? How much? How much? I don't even have to do the work now.
I don't understand. What do you mean by charge?
Like if someone comes with a data set, and because I've done this thing before, like I've done this dashboard stuff before. It was like a lady, she studied she's schooling in the US, so they gave them an assignment on Excel to do dashboard. So that was what I did, you understand? But I was actually working for someone, so they paid the person and the person paid me. So I didn't collect the money direct. So I'm like asking if someone comes now with like a similar assignment like that, like I want to design a dashboard, so like how much using Power BI, how much can you charge someone for this thing now? Like is there a standard industry price or the price is personal?
No, there's no standard industry price. It depends on you, it depends on how long the project will take you, it depends on the complications in the data sets. I would suggest you charge on the time spent, right? On the time spent, because most times when you create the dashboard, it's the biggest challenge is data cleaning, presenting your data in a way that Power BI understands, checking that your fields are in the correct format and all of that. That's usually the pain point. This is much more simpler because the data is already clean, it's already prepared, so it's just straight to the point. So I would suggest you just charge based on the amount of time spent in creating a report. That's what I can say.
Do you have a particular link where we can get more materials on Power BI? You have where you usually use. So just tell us.
A couple of inspirations. I can share with Doing at the end of the email, and then she can just get back to the rest of the team.
Okay, thank you. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, no problem. So that could contain basically, I don't know, inspirations. I mean, I would even suggest, much more than we can start with Power BI, but if you even want to do some crazy stuff with data visualization, there's Tableau now, which is, Tableau is really flexible. There's a lot of very cool stuff in Tableau, a lot of resources, but just back to Power BI, I can definitely get back to you on that. To get some resources that you can learn from and take inspiration from.
Okay, thank you.
But more I
just
want to encourage you.
Now.
No. No, I won't say better. I just think
Power BI.
Yeah, and I won't say better. I just think just be good at something, right? So if you want to start with Power BI, start with know how to use Power BI really well. Don't be a jack of all trade. I think that's one of the biggest challenges of now, where there are a lot of software, a lot of tools, so it could be very intimidating. I'm trying to juggle everything. I would say take one thing that is widely used, be very good at it before you try and do other things. So Power BI is actually the most used BI tool, right? So I would suggest you get very good at Power BI, and then if you want to take it a step further, then you can start looking into Tableau.
What's the full meaning of Power BI?
Power Business Intelligence.
Okay.
So it's just a business intelligence application designed by Microsoft.
So basically, Power BI and Tableau, they do almost the same thing, data visualization.
Yeah.
Just that Tableau has maybe some special features and stuff like that.
Yeah. But Power BI is actually much easier to use, much easier to learn, right?
Okay.
If you're very familiar, because most people already start at it in Excel. Once they jump into Power BI, it's straightforward from there, really.
So is Tableau still owned by Microsoft? I know this Power BI is like a Microsoft.
No. Tableau is not. Tableau is owned by Tableau.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you so much, guys, for your time. It's been very interactive. And I like the attitude. I think that's very key. That is to want to learn. Even myself, I never stop learning. So it's really commendable to see the hunger, and I just fuel it, right? Just be consistent. It's very hard. It's very intimidating when you see people doing cool stuff, but you are your own competition. So learn, compete against yourself, right? Do things and just keep improving. That's the important thing. So I just get email across to the installer, and then, like I said, if you need any help, if you need any correction or any insights, any observation, or you want me to just give some feedback on something you designed, then you can surely reach out to me, and I'll be there to help.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice day, everyone. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.